Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Bailey, also known as CringeMcCringle here on YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking about a Japanese movie item that I forgot that I had and almost bought a second one. Love that for myself. This is Transformers Dark of the Moon Air Raid. No, not that one. This one was exclusive to Japan and is a gray and red repaint of the Revenge of the Fallen breakaway mold. Hasbro, when we get an update on him.
Anywho, Air Raid here is awesome. In fact, there isn't a single bad repaint of this mold. Breakaway, Thrust, Multipack Thrust, which actually has a very similar color to this one. But this one, I don't know, this one just kind of speaks to me the most. I think because of how simple it is, it's one overall color with a few accents to help break it up. Obviously, as you can see, he is mostly a big gray robot, but he does have some red, black, and neon green of all colors to signify the details. Also, the actual robot design is one of the best from the Bayverse, and I really wish we could have seen this guy along with Breakaway and the other Aerialbots in the movie, and not just the video games. I love how his chest and his head are the center of the robot mode with basically all of the back kibble and the wings creating a sort of hunchback look. Air Raid's head sits in the cockpit, all snug as a bug in a rug, as my girlfriend would say. His actual head design is pretty neat and seems to be very G1 inspired. It also has some of the smallest eyes that I've ever seen on a Transformer figure in quite some time. Air Raid has got some big arms, featuring MacLeod. One of his arms happens to have a literal machine gun attached to it, but hey, if that's not enough, just attach his included MechTech weapon, which first appeared with Dark of the Moon Topspin. You can have it either in its gun configuration or claw. Lower half of the body is severely less interesting as well. He just has legs. They do feature some wheels and these big ol' feet.
Alright, so we're going to go over articulation now for Dark of the Moon Air Raid. First and foremost, move up the cockpit so that way you can actually move the head, and it is quite a bit of a pain to actually get. I do promise, though, it does move. It's just, there's not a lot of wiggle room. See it's moving slightly. Yep, see? It moves. But, nope, I don't want that down there. Goes like that. Anyway, head can move, just not a lot. Arms can rotate all the way around if it wasn't for the wings. They do go out like that. Elbow bend right there, and then a bicep swivel. The wrists do that, but it's more so for transformation than anything. He does not feature a waist rotation due to how all of this connects and is assembled. As you can see, that's not spinning anywhere. But moving the arms out of the way. Legs go forward. They go back. They go out. And because they're on a ball joint, they kind of do that. They do a little shimmy shim. Knee bend right there. And then the feet are actually pretty posable. They can pivot like that. And then they can go back like that. And they can go forward like that. But due to transformation, they can also kind of go forward like that. So you can get a lot of different poses out of this guy, at least when it comes to the lower half. However, because the legs are so posable, moving my camera here, he does sometimes like to be a little bit crooked when he stands because of how the feet are engineered. If he would stay up, please. But a lot of the times, he's usually leaning to one side, and I'm always having trouble fixing it. Anyway.
For articulation, Air Raid is actually really solid. Unlike a lot of movie designs, he really is just a robot. No weird design cues that hinder movement, just a guy with wings on his back, really. Now on to transformation. It's pretty simple with the arms and legs folding up and together while the chest assembly covers the top. However, and this is probably user error, I always run into clearance issues and there's always at least a solid minute or two where I'm just struggling, so I'm sure you'll see that in the video. And here we have Air Raid in his jet mode. If I remember correctly, which sometimes I don't, but he does turn into a Lockheed Martin F-35 fighter jet. You know, the one where the middle jet turbine thing goes down and it just hovers there. You know, that one. This mode looks very good and accurate to the source. While he is rocking some robot parts underneath, it's honestly not that bad, and it's kept very tidy. As I mentioned before, I like the gray color chosen, and it works well for this jet. Mainly because I could actually see the jet being this color instead of, oh, I don't know, bright orange, green, or purple. The red accents are very reserved, with most of it being on the tips of the wings and here on the nose cone, which is made out of a soft plastic. Little details worth mentioning are the rivets and the flaps on the wings, tail fins, and the very nicely molded and painted engine. Air Raid also comes equipped with landing gear and an opening cockpit, but close that up, he's sleeping. Shh, go back to bed, buddy. Oh, and then there's this port to plug the MechTech weapon into.
Overall, Air Raid is an awesome figure. The robot mode design is amazing, especially with those colors. However, as a toy, there's not really much going for him. But there's also not anything going against him. It's a well-engineered mold with 2 good-looking modes, but for whatever reason, it's just missing that something that pushes it above the rest of the other figures from its era. But with that being said, I will see you guys later, and in the next video, take care.